Business Page on KDKA TV.
And a very good morning to you. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday morning with us. After the horrific effects of devastating hurricanes Harvey and Irma, some financial relief for its victims could be on the way. This past week, the White House asked Congress for $29 billion for disaster aid and flood insurance claims. In addition to the tragic loss of life, property damage is staggering. Thank goodness for the heroic efforts of volunteers from the American Red Cross and other organizations. This morning, the story of two people from Western Pennsylvania who assisted those in need. Sandy Stein is a retired special education teacher at North Allegheny High School from McCandless. She recently returned from 14 days of volunteering for the American Red Cross as a shelter manager at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas, after Hurricane Harvey. Dr. Robert Skertich is Associate Professor of Public Administration at Point Park University's Rowland School of Business. He recently returned from Key West, Florida, where he was a deputy team leader with Pennsylvania One Disaster Medical Assistance Team, part of the National Disaster Medical System and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. They both join us this morning on the Sunday Business Page to share their experiences. Thank you both for the courage, the leadership, the work that you did in hurricane relief. There's not enough compliments that we can extend to you and to all your compatriots who joined in this effort. Sandy, if I could just start with you. You're part of the American Red Cross.
I am.
How did you get involved with the American Red Cross and in this particular relief effort?
I've been a Red Cross volunteer for 15 years. I started with the Red Cross shortly after 9/11 and looked at the blessings that I had in my life and thought it was time for me to give back some of my blessings and share my experiences with other people. So I started with the Red Cross, and I work in the local chapter and the local area, and then when the need arises, I deploy to other areas.
So was this your first deployment in relief efforts, or have you been involved in the past in going actual to sites of disaster?
I have deployed 10 times in my experiences.
Wow.
One of my local deployments was I was part of the Millvale flooding for Ivan, which I think you were part of.
Yeah, we remember that, certainly.
And so I was first responder. I was there the first night of that event, and I've done many deployments since then.
Right. I'm going to come back and ask you about your experience in Houston in just a second. But Rob, let me ask you about how you got involved as a volunteer in your particular effort, which I gather is a Pennsylvania and federal government related program.
Correct. We're not volunteers, though. We're part of the National Disaster Medical System, which is a cooperation between the VA, Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services. And it looks at catastrophic medical care in disasters. The disaster medical assistance teams, there's about 58 of them across the country, and there's one based here in Pittsburgh.
And you're part of that one.
Yes, and we have doctors, nurses, paramedics, pharmacists, and other kind of specialists, as well as all the support people that are able to go into an area and either support the local healthcare system, or in the absence of healthcare system, we can actually set up our own hospital and take care of people.
And how did you get involved in this program, and how long ago?
I've been involved in disaster management since the early 1980s, and this program really came about after September 11th, though it does have its roots back in the old civil defense days. So we were part of Homeland Security, but after Katrina, they moved us back into Health and Human Services. We're kind of like reservists. They call us up, and we become federal employees when this occurs. And our civilian jobs, allow us to go on these deployments.
I love you explaining this, because anybody watching the show could join you and be part of these efforts, and that's what we certainly want to encourage. Sandy, let me ask you about Houston. What was your experience like in Houston? What is it that you did after Hurricane Harvey?
I arrived in Houston 2 days after the hurricane hit. The convention center originally was an evacuation shelter, so it had about 10 to 20,000 people in it, and then it transitioned to a post-impact shelter. So there were 4 dorms of people, and so I was the supervisor of one dorm that housed about 400 people along with their pets.
Yeah, and when you say dorm, I mean, my sense of things is that people were spread out in wide open spaces with cots. I mean, it wasn't as if they had private bedrooms.
Oh no, there's no private bedroom. They make the best of trying to create their own little space by arranging their cots by family.
Right.
And their pets would be part of that little family. We had a full functioning veterinarian service in my part of the dorm, and they kept their pets with them.
How does that work? I mean, I can't imagine. I can imagine maybe a day or two in a situation like that, but when you have to do this for days on days on days on end, I should think tempers would rise a bit.
Every now and then, but most of the time people are just so grateful that you're there, and they know they don't have anywhere else to go, and they know that we're not going to leave them until they're ready to recover. So there are still people living in shelters, and the Red Cross will stay with them until they're ready to return to a place that's safe and they can live in.
Rob, how about you in the Keys? The Keys were really hit with Hurricane Irma.
Yeah.
How bad was it where you were?
Well, we drove through Marathon in the Upper Keys, and that was certainly had a lot more damage than Key West did. But Key West certainly sustained a lot of damage. You know, driving down the street with roofs gone, boats and trees, those kind of things. So there was a lot of physical damage, also a lot of infrastructure damage. Water system was affected, certainly electricity was affected. So those are the kind of problems that you run into afterwards. We were there because the local hospital had some damage, and they weren't operating at 100% yet. So we were supporting them, and once they were able to get up on their feet and start functioning as a fully operational hospital again, then we were able to move our operation.
Right. You know, I'm going to continue this discussion. We're going to take a quick break. I want to continue this discussion. I particularly want to ask each of you your advice about how we might do better on disaster relief, and particularly in Puerto Rico, which is